Hello everyone, good evening. Our today's video topic is deadlock and producer consumer problem in Java. So in this topic we will discuss what is the deadlock, how we can avoid deadlock, and I will explain in detail about the producer and consumer problem. So before moving toward the deadlock, there is one concept by name synchronization that I will explain plus first. So in Java, actually deadlock is a part of multi-threading. So the multi-threading in Java is nothing but when the multiple thread executes simultaneously. That is known as the multi-threading. So in multi-threading there is one concept by name synchronization that I will explain. So the synchronization is nothing but in Java it allows multiple thread to access same resource. In that condition, there there are the chances to provide or to uh, to provide incorrect or erroneous result. To avoid that, the synchronization used in Java. So the synchronization is nothing but it is a process which controls or provide monitorization on the process. The process is nothing but in that process the multiple thread access the same resource. So by providing control or the process of providing control on using the multiple threads same resources at a time, that is known as a synchronization. So how we can achieve the synchronization? Actually the synchronization is a concept based on the lock. So every object in Java has its or it is associated with its own lock. So by calling or by requesting the object lock, we can achieve the synchronization. When the same when same object or the same thread when the same thread calling when the multiple thread calling the same resources or the method, at that time they uh, there are the chances of providing the incorrect results or erroneous result. To avoid that, we use the synchronization. Actually in synchronization they use lock. So the when one thread calls lock and it enters into the synchronized method, it performs its all tasks, and during that time the all other threads waiting outside. So that after the completion of the work, the thread release the lock and other threads enters into the method. So that is synchronization. So the next concept, that is what is a lock. So the lock is nothing but it is actually every object associated with the lock. It has its own lock. When the thread request to object, it provide the lock, and after the work provided to thread, it release the lock and other threads enter into the process or into the methods. So next is a deadlock. So the deadlock is a concept in a multi-threading. Deadlock is nothing but deadlock comes in existence or comes in picture thread when the thread shared resources or multiple thread shares resources, and in that case when the thread when one thread waiting for another thread lock. It means when one thread is enters into process and same time another thread want to exit in that process or in that method, but when one thread entered, it uses the lock. So the at that time another thread will not able to enter the process, it waiting outside. So same condition, when the A thread is, let's consider there are the two threads, that is A and B. When the A thread is waiting to release lock by thread 1, and same thread B is waiting to enter or release the lock by A, so that is a deadlock. It means both, since thread A is waiting for the thread B and thread B is waiting for the thread A. In that condition, both threads are on waiting mode, so that is a deadlock. So the deadlock, probably every programmer try to avoid the deadlock, but in some situation it deadlock get occurs. So to avoid that, uh, there are the various methods or various segments that are used. So the first one is to avoid deadlock, we should have to avoid the nested locks. It means to avoid the unnecessary lock. By avoiding the unnecessary lock, we can avoid the deadlock. Next, by avoiding unnecessary lock, it means by using the minimum number of the lock or the minimum lock, we can avoid the deadlock. Next is by using the join method or by using the thread join. So the thread join is a process which features thread to execute one by one. So it avoids the synchronization or locking the problems. So it helps to avoid deadlock. So these were some ways to avoid the deadlock. Next, I will discuss about the consumer and producer problem. Let's consider there is one shop. To this shop, the producer is providing the, let's consider pen. It providing the pen to the shop. So it means it producer produces the pen and providing the stock to the shop, but shop has the limited, or it has some limit to get to get the pen or to store the pen. In that condition, the producer has to wait for a while. And let's consider the consumer. There is one consumer who is coming to shop and buying some pens, but there is also limitation. In that case, the consumer, if there is no availability of the stock of the pen in the shop, that time the consumer have to wait. So to running that cycle, there are the two methods comes in picture, that is the wait method and notify method. So I will explain them in detail. First I will talk about the wait method. So the wait method is nothing but, it is a method, actually it is related with the locking concept, synchronization. So when the one thread or when producer come to shop, and but there are some uh, limited stock of the pen that shopkeeper have to store. So it indicates the producer to produce that much pens and then notify me. So the wait method is a method in Java uh, which is a method of the object class. As we know, the object class is super class in Java. So the wait method is method of the super class. It actually it works like, in this method it release the object lock and tell thread to sleep for a while until it get the notification or until the notified by the another thread. So in that case, second thread enters into the synchronized method, and after finishing its work, it notify to current thread to get back from this sleep mode. So that is a wait method. Next is the notify method. So the notify method is a method in which the uh, in which it provides the notification, or it tells the sleep thread to again reactivate. So that is a notify method. So in producer consumer method, both methods, in producer consumer problem, both methods are used, that is a wait method and notify method. So the wait method provides or it shows the producer to wait at certain limit. Same in consumer, it also says consumer to wait for a while. And notify method says consumer to notify to producer when the minimum number of the stock, or let's consider there is a 10 number of the pens are available in the shop. At that time, notify to the producer to produce the pen. And in case of the producer, if the stock is goes beyond the 100 number of the pens, at that time it notifies the producer to stop the production. So like that it works. So guys, that was all about the deadlock producer consumer problem in Java. Thank you so much.